Hi. Thank you so
Hello.
much for doing this with me, Vatsal.
Thank you for having me here.
So I'll give you not just an introduction for the audience, but I'll also give you the introduction why we are doing this. So when I look back at my 2 years, and I also look at the people around me, I was thinking, what did I get from these 2 years, and who are the people who maximize not only their learning but their overall ROI from their MBA? And you are one of those people who came to my mind at the very beginning. So I wanted to understand what was your journey like at IIM Bangalore, and what worked for you, what did not. So that is the gist of the journey we are going to have here with Vatsal Mankodi. And yeah, so I don't think I'll be able to do fair justice to like telling everything about you in the intro. So I want you to do your intro.
Sure. Thank you. This is a wonderful initiative and hope I can share the best I can, which will help others. So about me, well, I'm an engineer. I've ever since I thought about professional education or education in general, I was very fascinated with computers and I thought I'd want to do computer engineering because I was very fascinated, as I said, by making computers do things you like. So there was a simple goal to go for computer engineering at the best institute possible. That's what I was chasing for, I think, ever since I gave my 10th. Quickly, I gave it my best, was very focused and was fortunate enough to get at the state best college, and the branch I was very rigid and fixed on what I wanted. My college was VJTI Mumbai. It's a 130 plus year old college, and yeah, so there I was exposed to a lot of new things which I had never done. Like, I was a part of fests, I did a lot of sponsorship, running, working with people, working in teams. I had zero exposure to any of it then, and I started realizing maybe I enjoy this, and I also enjoy writing code. And then I was a bit confused at that point, but then the goal was clear that given that I've invested so much in
Your
learning engineering and writing code, let me give it a chance in a professional setup. So during that time, I was solving for a big multinational organization. I worked at Deutsche Bank. That's where I got placed in Pune, and the only criteria was that it's a big, good company which will expose me to again more things.
A lot of
Yeah,
opportunities.
and then I'll know myself better. So the whole goal is, and that will be the underlying theme of most of what I speak, is to try to know yourself better. So at Deutsche Bank, again, I got to work with a lot of different people from different nationalities during, and I was very obsessed, and I was happy that whatever I'm doing is actually helping the organization. But again, I started realizing that well, I can do this. Maybe I can do this well, but I'm not really passionate about this. When I'm free, I'd not be thinking about technology, writing code. I'd read about businesses. I'd want to again do events. So at Deutsche Bank, I was a part of the junior network. This is more like a college fest or a club within the organization. Just that this is global, and we used to work towards having initiatives for junior employees. So associates and analysts globally across the bank. And again, I started realizing that I'm getting that kick of doing impact in these. I'm more naturally suited, and I enjoy doing these things more. And it helped to know that there are people in my team, in the organization, who write code and thrive on it and are really good at it. Somewhere I realized that maybe I'm better at them at something else,
But not
but not this, right? So I could have done it, but
So when did this kick started coming in that I want to try something
Got
else? Was it 2 years or 3 years?
So
into
I
it?
worked in Deutsche Bank for 3 years. However, I made the call after 2 years, 1.5 years.
That now I want to prepare.
So
and
so one key thing here is I ensured that I get good proper work, which helps me decide, right? So till you are not writing, for example, in the world of coding, writing production level code, solving problems, working with new technologies, that's tried to expose myself to all of it before taking an informed call, because till that time there's a lot of bias of what you are actually doing, which might not be the real deal. So that's what I tried, and I was fairly certain after a point that now is the time. I'd rather do an MBA.
Okay.
So yeah, so then
Then
I
you
gave CAT.
gave cat.
I failed 1 year. I learnt 1 year. That's what I how I'd like to look at
Mhm.
it. I gave all in the first year when I studied, when I prepared for CAT, like crazy hours, 3 hours in the morning, going to work, coming back, giving 2 more hours, and then bombing it on the day.
Oh.
And then I realized that maybe this is not how my mind works. I cannot put a lot of emphasis and pressure on one thing, and then it doesn't help me perform well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, what worked for me or works for me is being okay with whatever happens on the day, and not focusing and putting a lot of pressure on myself on the day. It sounds a bit cryptic, I get it, but if it's what came to me, and I've realized many people function that way. And more I've spoken to people here at IIM Bangalore, many of us claim to have just given CAT and it working out. So
Mm.
the next year when I attempted CAT, I was a bit
More
chill.
relaxed.
I knew that there's only so much I can do.
Mm.
It can go either way. I'll give my best, and that's it. Let's see. And once that attitude changed in my mind, I ended up scoring better
Maybe subconsciously
enough.
the pressure
Exactly.
reduced and you
Exactly.
could
I
do
had
what.
options in my mind. I knew
Uh-huh.
that if I don't get in this year, I might try to do an MBA, through
Abroad.
GMAT abroad,
Okay.
because I would be eligible for it
Mm-hmm.
and will have a better chance there. So in my mind, I had plans, and I was okay with failing, if that's what it means. That I acknowledge that kuch bhi ho sakta hai, right? And that helped. I personally feel that helped me perform there. And yeah, and then this was a dream come true. This is my best
Wait,
call.
no, let's not get directly into
Okay.
MBA. I want
Okay.
to know your answer in the SOP to why MBA. So, what was your answer
it.
back then, and has anything changed if you look back?
Okay, interesting. I remember distinctly my SOP had a structure of two things. One, what I'm good at, and second, what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And the third was the final goal. So the final goal was to maximize impact. It's a very high level term. People define it in their own ways. For
Yeah.
me, impact meant reaching a lot of people. In fact, as I've said, right, when writing code also, I felt my work is being used for something good, for impacting people, impacting businesses. That was the end goal.
Yeah.
Two things were my skills and my passion. Passion was businesses. Skills, I said, were team, working in teams, communication, leadership, and both of them converged, and the answer was MBA.
Okay.
Right, that
And then
because and
leading
which
to
leads to
impact.
impact. So that was the structure.
Uh-huh.
Now if I think about it, it has more or less, it stays the same. And I think that's, in retrospect, makes me feel it was a good call then, that I still feel that my skills align, my passions align. My the ways of reaching to impact will change. I'll define impact differently, but I still feel I've built my skill sets, and my passion stays towards the impact. So it has not changed a lot, contrary to what many expect, that
That's
things
amazing.
change. But
If
yeah,
your core value is so strong that it has stayed intact over these 2 years, only gotten stronger. Now only the impact area, the industry where you will be working will be different.
Right.
But the core underlying
Right.
theme is
I think
wow.
I'm lucky that way.
That means you have a lot of clarity, and you had that before entering here.
I had it before entering here, correct. What I'll do, maybe I'm assuming will be a long-term question again. So I'll hold my horses till then. but yeah, long story short, yes, it stayed the same.
Okay. Now coming to the hectic first year,
Right.
not exactly first year, the first term and the second term where we are panicking about our internship, the preparation.
Right.
How did you navigate through that journey? How did you make sure that you have a good profile that gets you to the kind of company you're looking for? I know a lot of it is predetermined. You cannot change that
Right.
now. But if there's anything that you did after coming to IIM Bangalore that you feel helped you getting the kind of internship you
Right.
want, I would want you to
Got
share
it.
that.
Sure. So I was very sure, again, before I came in, I was clear, or I told myself I was clear. We'll never know. I think I was clear about choosing consulting as a first step after MBA, for the only reason that one thing I've learned is you learn more about yourself, and you need flexibility once you know better. And consulting to me seemed to be a place where it aligned with the skills I had, which I thought I had, people skills, talking, communication and all those things, and it would have left me with options uh, till I knew better. So
Exit
it was
options.
very clear I wanted consulting. Now everything was an attempt to solve for getting a good shortlist. That's how unfortunately it works here, or in most B schools in India, where your shortlist ends up determining your best chances. The instrument for shortlists is your CV or your profile. So, as you rightly said, most things are already written or have already been done. You cannot change
80
most
to
things.
85% of
Yep.
the things that's on your CV.
Yes. So that is something I realized. One clear help is speaking to seniors and quickly understanding the situation. One something which you are helping, I think, your audience with. So I knew that it's about the CV, and there is no exact science. That was also a realization. So it through my UG also I had understood that these shortlists, placements have a huge luck factor. You might be wanting something, but that's only one factor out of 100 others. What the company wants, what they look for, who is looking, what is the person who's looking thinking at that time. So you just never know, right? So one thing is I stopped thinking in terms of A leads to B, and that I think is a good strategy for anyone who's making a CV in a B school setup, where you try your best, but it's never, nothing is written in stone as to
This
you
will
do A,
lead to
you'll
this.
get to B. It's
Yeah,
not an
agreed,
exact science,
agreed.
unfortunately. Should be, it's not. So what I did, and I think what definitely helped, is meeting a lot of seniors. Like there is a great culture of helping, and as you have pointed out many times, that help is given to those who ask for it. That's a ongoing line.
That's the mantra of
IIM Bangalore, and it's true.
Yeah,
Like
you
how
reach
much
out, you will get
yes,
help.
you always get help. I was very fortunate to meet a lot of great seniors who helped a lot, and I was just trying to understand what or how they approached their CVs, what is their view on my CV, what helped them, what can I learn from them. So, this many people struggle with understanding. People give contrasting views, right? Someone will say X, some other person will give a counter argument.
Put more numbers.
Someone will say less
stronger
numbers. Yes,
words.
people, and sometimes they're also contrary, right?
Yes, definitely.
So I did do what I felt was right ultimately, because it was my CV, but I did at least 20 to 30
rounds of
checking
from
my
seniors.
Seniors, PGP3s who have graduated, are into the industry, also random colleagues from the past, also consultants already in these firms, to make sure that I get all the views possible, to make a CV which is well rounded or appealing to someone from any background. Right now, so for example, in my case, because I'm a developer, a lot of things are implementation and not strategy, though I did try to involve myself right from day one, as I told you, in a lot of other activities
I would
at
want you
Deutsche
to
Bank.
mention that also. Okay, you mean Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
Anything that you did post coming to IIMB?
I just met a lot of people. I think for me,
That was the biggest,
yes. So
thing to do.
and if you're asking only specific to my internship, trying to get an internship, it was about CV reviews, right? And which involves a lot of networking, looking for an opportunity as to, whenever you meet someone, you just say, what, by the way, I like speaking to you. I'd want your help.
To review my
Never
CV.
thinking twice before asking for help, and reaching out and keeping everyone informed. I think the way to build that also helps building good relationships in the long term. So for CVs, there's not a lot you can change, but you just get as many views as possible and then pray for the best. Unfortunately, it's all luck. Most of it is luck. It's controversial to say it's all luck, but you give your best, and then again,
So
chill
what I
about
am
it.
understanding is you made sure that you have a lot of perspective as
A
to
lot.
how to write the points.
Yes.
Isn't it that what you were maximizing
Exactly.
for? Because
Exactly.
the points underneath were same, but
Yes.
you wanted to present them in the best possible
Yes.
way by getting a lot of
Correct.
feedback.
So quick example, I'm a developer. There's something which is very technical, but I know that in consulting, it has to be more client facing or impact specific, I'll show my points to, say, a chartered accountant or an arts graduate, a doctor in the senior batch, and ask them if the points make sense to them. Do they see impact in the point?
If not, you
If
have
not, I change.
Okay.
So that's all I did for a month before the shortlist, and then I prayed. So
And your prayers worked. You got
was
in.
lucky, very lucky to.
Yes.
And that's what I learned, that it's you feel very grateful once it works out, because almost everyone on campus is fighting for the same
The
goal.
same. Yes.
So yeah.
So you got your internship at
Yeah.
McKinsey and Company, and then you went ahead and interned there.
Yeah.
How was that experience in brief? Whatever details you are.
Internship
sharing.
was a gratifying experience, first because you've dreamt of being there for a while. If you've prepared for CAT 2-3 years, like me, 2 years, but also quickly I realized that, I mean, it was very evident that everyone around me was super smart. There's too much to learn from everyone. The skills I thought I had to be sharpened. If I felt I was good at communication, I quickly realized that it's not enough. Everyone's good or maybe better. So a lot of learnings, and I can go into them, but long story short, it was about understanding that there's a lot to learn, and the work I was given also had its own challenges, but yeah, it only made me feel that okay, this is where I want to be to learn.
These are the skills that have gotten me here.
Yes.
But to go ahead from here, I
Correct.
need some work.
Correct, definitely.
I'm sure you will put that, and when you go join full time,
That's-
the learning will happen.
Correct.
Okay. Now, coming to second year after the
Okay.
internship, we are back, and you decided to go on exchange, right?
Correct, yeah.
Just like me. So, how was that experience, and was it different from what you expected living in Europe? Was it your first time?
It was. So
Okay.
I had been to Europe with family for 10 days, but that trip was planned by a travel agent with, I just had to sit, travel, eat. This was very different. While I knew that, so I'm a kind of person who has to be sure and clear about what I'm doing. So I chose a university, great university, but where there was not important to attend lectures. So I wanted to solve for travel or studying. I chose that while we've studied a lot,
At
let's solve for
campus?
travel.
Okay.
So I was very clear, and then I just planned. Planned. A few realizations. I think you can survive anywhere if you can survive
In Europe, as a
in-
vegetarian.
vegetarian, in all the conditions you go through through those 100 days. Second was that things are very different. I felt more grateful for the country I'm in, just in terms of diversity, culture. I just felt that what peoples around us are really, really different. And I think power of planning. I realized that I was very busy there. I thought I'd be free and chilling out, for 3-4 months, but it felt that I was always working towards
Planning the
next trip, planning the next accommodation. It's a proper backpacker's experience just for 3 months, right? And it was tiring, but also great. I think I'm very, very satisfied. One quick tip, if it's a tip, that you just plan in advance. It's very obvious, but it's not something people always do, or can do. Go with the good group, with a good bunch of people, and things will go well.
So yeah, Vatsal, we covered exchange. Now coming to the entire 2-year journey, when you look back, what do you feel has been your biggest takeaway from this place?
The biggest takeaway has been change of perspective, not in terms of what I want to do, because as we just discussed, that has stayed clear, and this has helped me. But in terms of how the world functions, how people operate, how do people look at things, there is no one right answer. People have their own priorities. People process things in different ways. So now I feel I've become more empathetic to different views. Uh, and yeah, I understand people better. I think that's my key takeaway. I have also, that is number one. Number two is how I operate has changed. I feel I can face different situations in a calmer fashion. This is something, calmness was something that I never associated with myself or my friends would know. But after coming here, when I was reading my yearbook, people noticed that about me, and I realized that even I process situations and things in a more mature way. Just because I think what helps there is the breadth of things and the just pure flux of incidents and situations you are put into, and how you deal with them. You just become better operating people. So yeah, that those two things.
And I'm assuming the perspective has come from the diversity of
Yes,
the batch.
for sure. I mean, quick example, I was first term, right, when I thought I'd study maths. There's a math heavy subject. I'm not
BS1.
extremely fond of it, and I found people who thrived on it. Then I found a friend from psychology background who was trying to understand the theory of it, and I was like, wait, this is maybe not working for me in a group. Some things I should do, because I understood that people operate differently. People have different goals, and you just give them time, and there's no right. There's what suits to you best, and
then
that's
same was the case with the case discussions that we had in
Exactly.
class. There was no right thing.
There was no
This
right.
is how this person
Yes.
thinks. This is how this person thinks.
Yes.
How do they come to a middle ground?
Exactly. Like in MBA itself, right? Many subjects you're not told how to do XYZ. There is no clear documentation always to do things a certain way, run a successful business. It's all, so there's a very cool concept called causal ambiguity, where there are 10 factors which come into play, leading to competitive advantage, and you don't know what worked how. So there is basically nobody knows.
Yeah.
But what MBA helps you in is building that view, or how to look at a problem from those different views that you've seen in class or in class discussions. So
Absolutely
Yeah.
agreed on that point. Okay, so now more different question. Do you have any regrets about your journey at IIMB?
So in terms of what I wanted to achieve and get, there are one or two,
Okay.
but they're not major regrets. Right, I still feel like I tried to optimize or do everything I could, or say yes to everything I wanted to. Some things were, there are trade-offs you have to make, and I'm happy to live with them. For example, I would have loved to perfect a sport here given the facilities here, but I could never prioritize it, or maybe do more case competitions in retrospect. But calling them regrets would be too harsh.
That time you did not have the time. You
Yeah,
had
I prioritized something else which I'm very happy about today. So you just realize you can't do everything, and it's fine as long as
And
you're
that realization does make you so much more
Yeah.
satisfied with yourself, or you just end up beating yourself.
I don't. I'm
I do that
happy with.
sometimes.
No, I'm. So it's that, right? So for example, if I would not have gone to exchange, I could have maybe done both of these things. But I treasure the exchange experience. It was, and I have no. I mean, I understand that. Okay, I chose that over this. This I'll prioritize some other day. I'll hopefully try to learn the sport
while working.
right? So it's all right. I won't call them regrets. They are just trade-offs.
Okay, an extrapolation to the last question. If you were to start your MBA journey again this year, you are the 2024 to 2026
Right.
batch. Is there anything you would have done differently second time?
I have a very simple answer. The answer is no.
So, Vatsal, what has been your favorite memories on campus?
That is a tough question, because over the 2 years you've made a lot of memories. But I think two distinct. One is the first week of campus. We have this IIMB where the first year students organize an event in the open air theater, my favorite place on campus. And I like singing. I'm passionate about music. So I had the chance to sing there my favorite songs in front of an audience in a beautiful venue. So yeah, that will stay with me, I think, forever. And the other is running on campus. I like to run, though I've struggled to prioritize running, but I have had my uh, um, fair number of runs on campus, and I've enjoyed running when the sun is rising or setting. So the
Wow.
campus is beautiful, and I'll miss the campus a lot.
Great. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you so much,
Vatsal.
Riya, for bringing this out to people whom it can help.
I'm glad. Thank
Thank
you.
you.